Joe, good to see you. Thanks
Good
for
to see you,
doing this.
Coney.
It's been a long time, right?
Yeah.
You got any autograph shows coming up? You know, in the off-season?
Well, I'm sure we will have one. We usually have one a year, and thanks to you,
Yeah,
I get to sign underneath you.
We'll always be connected all
That's
those
right.
years, and I'm thankful
Love
for
it.
that.
I
Yes.
am too.
You know, you've had a hell of a run. You know, you've managed in big markets, Yankees. You've seen the pressure. Obviously, pressure in Philly.
Yeah.
You know, the start, Bryce Harper. You get superstar. Talking about, hey, these games matter in April and May. I mean, how do you keep the perspective going here in terms of what's happened already that's disappointing, and then moving forward, how things are going to turn around?
Well, I think you always have to remember that every day does matter. But you also have to remember it's a 162-game schedule. It's not a 45-game schedule or a 50-game schedule. So, the key is that you try to improve all the time, whatever it takes. And you might take a couple steps backwards, but the work is there, the players are putting it in, and I really believe that this is going to turn around.
One of the big things for fan bases is bullpen management, right?
Yeah,
I mean, all managers get second-guessed on bullpen. Why'd you bring this guy in? How do you manage your bullpen? How do you do that, and keep things, especially if a guy's struggling, run him out there again? What do you say to them? How do you manage the bullpen?
Well, I think you look at matchups, number one, and whose stuff matches up best against a certain group. It can't be just one hitter anymore. It's got to be at least three. So you have to take that all into account. And I think it even becomes more difficult now because in the National League, the American League had to deal with it. There's a DH, so they can flip hitters like that and not worry about, I'm going to run out of players or run out of pinch hitters. You don't. So I think it becomes harder. And I think you look for the best possible situation to put them in. When they're struggling a little bit, maybe you give them a non-leverage situation to get them going. But you got to get them right back in there, and you expect your guys to do the job. And, they're working on it all the time as well. This is a tough game, and that's the one thing I don't think you can ever forget is how hard it is to play this game.
That's a great point. Speaking of the DH, the best laid plans, right? You had these plans coming in. Everybody said, wow, you guys are going to slug. You had a great offensive club. Defensively, how's this going to shake down? Now you're kind of, Bryce with his injury, he's locked into the DH hole. Has that jammed you up a little bit? Yeah,
I mean, I think we would have preferred to rotate the DH a little bit between those three guys, Harp, Castellanos, and Schwarber. But we have not been able to do that. Thank God for the DH because we've been able to keep Bryce in the lineup, and he's having an outstanding year, but it puts a little bit more on the other guys from a physical standpoint and having to play every day. And the other thing, I think we've had 3 off days the whole year, right? We've had long stretches, 13, 11, 10, in the midst of 16. And all teams are going through that, but it makes it tough, to keep the guys on the field.
What's it like to manage Bryce Harper? Such a superstar, such a big personality, such a leader. I mean, what is he like?
He's really pretty much of a run-of-the-mill guy, right? He just kind of tries to fit in, hangs out with his teammates, no entourage, none of that, a great family man. Sometimes you have to tell him, okay, don't run into the wall, right? Don't do certain things because he plays so hard, but it's so great that we've been able to keep him in the lineup.
Do you see, with respects to switching lanes to starting pitching? Analytics has told us third time through the lineup. Look at the data, this and that. Now you've got such a great starting rotation, at least certainly at the top.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you can push them farther? Do you feel the need, like, hey, forget about that. I trust these guys. Let's get deeper into the game.
Yeah, we have. I mean, we've done that just because in the beginning we couldn't push them because a lot of guys weren't built up. Ranger only had a couple starts. Wheeler had a couple. Not even real starts. We couldn't, but we feel really good about our starting pitching. And the one thing is, I think, with that going 3 times through the lineup, if you don't do it, you have to be careful with your bullpen uses. Because I look at the IL, it's bullpen guys. I mean, they are sprinkled all over the IL, and I think it's taken a toll on them. And if you have starting pitchers that have that ability to go through a lineup 3 times, I think it keeps your bullpen healthier.
If you could give one message to the Philadelphia fan base.
It's going to turn. It's going to turn. These guys are too good, and it's going to turn.
There you go. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.